Meet Michigan, Chapter 3, Lesson 3. Chapter 3, Lesson 3, Ideas to Explore. Religion, People to Meet, Jacques Marquette, Places to Discover, Fox River of Wisconsin, Mississippi River, Pere Marquette, Wisconsin River, Words to Welcome, Catholic, Diary, Primary Source. A brave priest. Think about this while you read. How did Father Marquette affect Michigan history? Let's find out about one of the early French priests. This man came to Michigan a long time ago. He was one of the first French people to reach our land. If we could talk to him, he might have said this: "Bonjour, my name is Jacques Marquette. I was born in 1637 to a good family. We lived in northern France. When I was just 17, I decided to become a priest. I studied long and hard for this work. I had to read many books. I finished my training in 1666. I belonged to the Catholic Church. In this church, priests are called Father. This is done out of respect. Some people call me Father Marquette. When I finished my training, my great wish was to go to New France. This was our name for North America. Priests left France to go all over the world. We went to share our religion with other people. We told people about our God." Think what Father Marquette faced. It might be like going to the moon today. His work would be exciting. It may also be dangerous. At last, he reached the Upper Peninsula. Here, he learned to speak the languages of the tribes. He learned how to talk to the Odawa. He learned how to talk to the Huron and other tribes. Michigan's first 2 towns. Marquette started 2 towns. He built a little church in each one. That was over 300 years ago. He did this in 1668 and 1671. The first was at Sault Ste. Marie. This town is across the river from Canada. St. Ignace was the second. They are both in the eastern Upper Peninsula. These are the 2 oldest towns in Michigan. Father Marquette played a part in our history. Let us explore a great river. In 1672, a fur trader visited the priest. He asked Marquette to come with him. He wanted to explore a great river. This was the Mississippi. Marquette could speak to the tribes on the way. No Europeans had explored this river. They would be the first ones. It was May 17th, 1673. The explorers loaded their supplies. Father Marquette said a prayer. They stepped into their canoes. Marquette probably wondered where his little boat would take them. The men dipped their paddles into the water and started. They waved to their friends. The view of the St. Ignace became smaller. They paddled along the north shore of Lake Michigan. Days later, they reached Wisconsin and rested at a village of the Menominee tribe. The tribes helped them. The Frenchmen paddled up the Fox River. They stopped at another Indian village. They asked if anyone could help guide them. They wanted to find a way to the Mississippi. On June 10th, the Frenchmen and 2 guides left. An amazed crowd of Indians watched. They paddled through swamps and many small lakes. Marquette wrote, "We greatly needed our 2 guides. They helped us to carry our canoes to a second river. After this, the guides returned home. We were left alone in an unknown country." In the yellow box, this is called a primary source. Marquette wrote this down in his dictionary. The priests were very good about taking notes. Often they wrote down what took place each day. Marquette's diary is a primary source. A primary source tells what actually happened. It was recorded by someone who was there. Primary sources help historians know what happened. Primary sources are the best because the person was actually there. He or she wrote down what took place. She did it or saw it. He did it or saw it. People wrote about events in diaries, letters, or books. Alone in the country, in dangerous country. Now, the men went down the Wisconsin River. Marquette wrote in his diary, "The day was June 17th, 1673. We safely entered the Mississippi with a joy I cannot express. The French explorers kept going. The river carried them south. The days passed. They could tell the Mississippi did not go to the Pacific Ocean. It would need to go west to do that. It was not a way to China. The men had followed the river over 600 miles. They decided to turn back. Marquette was very sick. The trip had been very hard. Now Marquette was sick. What should they do? It was decided. He stayed at an Indian village. The rest of the men headed back. Maybe he could rest and get better. It did not happen. In spite of that, he visited another tribe. His illness grew much worse. 2 French friends came to help him back to St. Ignace. The friends paddled hard and fast. Each hour Father Marquette was weaker. Sadly, he did not make it. One night, he died along the shore of Lake Michigan. The year was 1675. His friends buried him near a river. Now this river is called the Pere Marquette in his honor. Marquette was a brave priest. Many priests worked hard to tell the tribes about their religion. Think about it, write about it. Number 1, name Michigan's 2 oldest European towns. When were they started? Name the man who started them. Number 2, did Marquette and the French explorers need help from the tribes on their trip to the Mississippi River? Explain your answer. Number 3, what primary source did Father Marquette leave behind? How does it help us know about history? Brain stretchers. Make a map. Mark the route Marquette traveled from St. Ignace down the Mississippi River in 1673. Make a timeline. Add the dates when the 3 old cities in the United States were started, along with the dates when St. Ignace and Sault Ste. Marie were started. Label the cities. Think like a historian. Write 3 questions you would like to ask Marquette if you could go back in time and talk with him. How did Father Marquette affect Michigan's history?